Hi, my name is Jill Swarner, and I'm with the NCTC Honors Program. We wanted to put some information out about the courses that we're offering this spring. We're very excited about the 4 courses that we're offering through the NCTC Honors Program, and you don't have to be an honors to take these courses. We often get students who just need a course, and maybe they want to take something that approaches the subject matter in a unique way, and so we just wanted to let you know as you're thinking about registering for spring about these courses and kind of give you some information about why you might want to take an honors course. So students sign up for honors because initially they're interested in scholarships, and they're interested in scholarships when they transfer to a 4-year school. So that's probably the number one reason why students participate in honors. And you can always email me at jswarner@nctc.edu if you want more information about the NCTC honors program. So today we're going to start with Lisa Smart. Lisa Smart is going to talk about her English class that she taught last spring. It's English 1302, and she is offering that as an English honors section. And so Professor Smart's going to go first, and then Professor Kershey is going to talk about honors econ. Then Dr. Eubanks is going to talk about honors literature, followed by Professor Embry, who's going to talk about honors film appreciation. So Professor Smart, if you'll just tell us a little bit about your honors English course that you're offering in the spring.
Sure. The class is called Social Media Does FOMO Make You a Virtual Prisoner? And I think it's such a great course because it's something that everyone has something to offer. We all have an opinion about social media. The common read that we do is 10 reasons or 10 arguments for deleting your social media. I think that, we tend to live in this sort of bubble that social media is like a utopia. Everything is just perfect and it's for our own good. And, but we don't really know all the video surveillance and things that go on. So we're not necessarily saying, boo social media, but we just want our students to be informed. We try to draw parallels to certain literature or things that are going on in your own life. We watch the video from Netflix, The Social Dilemma. We're also going to look at Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, which is sort of the opposite of a utopia. If you think about it, it's a dystopia. So it sort of shows you how things can go terribly wrong. And we are going to watch the more contemporary version that was on HBO. But it's just really a way that students can get in touch with how they feel about social media, maybe make connections between short stories, television episodes, films they've seen. I really want them to have that ability to explore. Maybe they've seen a recent television event or a television show, a film or something, and then we can connect it back to the readings we have in 10 arguments. I do want to say, most of all, I think what was most exciting for me last semester is we had a student that came in, wasn't even planning to take an honors class, ended up getting a scholarship at the end. I just want people to feel confident that you can take an honors class. And it's a great experience, and you have, the opportunity to explore your own interests and things like that. But I just welcome anyone that wants to attempt to take an honors class.
Thank you so much. Yes, I thought it was a really interesting class, and I think the students were surprised. They thought the arguments that they were going to be studying were the same arguments they'd heard over and over again
Yeah.
about social media, about protecting your privacy or um, criminal activity, that sort of thing. So I think that's a lot of the feedback we get about Lanier's book. It was exciting too that he spoke to us and Dr. Eubanks
Yes.
interviewed him. So just a lot of cool opportunities in that class. All right, Professor Kershey, if you'll tell us about honors economics. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, my bad. This is honors macroeconomics, and it's the economics of music and movies. Learn how pop culture affects our global economy. So we are going to be looking at Actually, anything you would like to look at, as long as you can relate it to the topics, you get to pick your own songs. And then you're going to relate that to marginal analysis. You're going to pick your own movie and relate that to GDP. You're going to pick your own TV show and relate that to unemployment. And then you're going to pick a different movie if you have to, because it has to be a really old movie so we can demonstrate inflation. And so really it is your choice what you would like to pick on that. But again, it is a central theme of fun things, that the economics is all around us. It really is everywhere. And so the whole point is to try and get you to recognize that there's economics in those fun things. So most people think economics and they go, right? So we don't want you doing that. We want you going, hey, look, there's economics in this movie. There's economics everywhere. So it really is up to you which one you pick, but you will kind of put it all together and then do your little poster and present it. And that can be, if we're doing live presentations for the symposium, which is really cool, then you can do that. Or if you don't want to do that, I'm going to actually allow you to do a video where you present your poster just by submitting the video too. So again, more choices on your part. And I also, just like Professor Smart, I had a student who took my class last spring, and they were not looking for an honors class, and they actually ended up in the top 3 in the class and got a scholarship too. So that was pretty cool for them.
Very cool. So I'm intrigued, and I should know this, and I should be able to remember this from last spring, and I don't. So, as you gave those examples, can you remember a student project and a particular song or movie that they used for their project, for honors projects?
Oh, I got lots of different things from songs I had never heard before, which was cool for me because, we all got kind of stuck in our own little rut. So it was nice to see songs from completely different genres, and they still related it to the topic of really, sorry, I hate to use these words, critical thinking, but it really is, using it in your own life. And so they pulled the economic concept from the song and then did an example from their own life of how that song kind of related to a decision that they had made. And I got to hear anything from screamo to country music, and it was actually, for me, that was pretty cool listening to all those different things and different movies that I had obviously never watched, because you can't watch every single movie that's out there. So it was pretty cool hearing all these different concepts that I know are out there, but it was interesting to see it from their point of view, from their favorite movie.
Right. I like the way you have your course set up. I think that's a cool assignment. So anyway, okay. All right, Dr. Eubanks, tell us about your class.
Yes, my class is looking at superhero movies, trying to just sort of narrow it down. It's such an overwhelming topic. I think we're just going to look at movies in the Marvel universe. So instead of a textbook, you'll just be have a 8-week subscription to Disney Plus, so we can all watch the Marvel movies together and talk about them. The idea that I want to look at is how these superhero films reflect our culture. So we're going to be approaching it from all sorts of different directions. For example, we'll be taking a kind of ethical view of superhero films. What is the ethical universe of a Marvel movie? Is it individualistic morality? Is it social morality? We're going to look at questions of science and religion. We rewatched Thor for the first time in several years, and it just raised all kinds of interesting questions about what is science and what is religion. They claim in there that science and religion and myth are all the same thing, but I don't know if that holds up in the terms of that movie. We're going to be looking at gender. We'll be comparing sort of pre and post Me Too movement superhero movies, especially like Iron Man 2 and Captain Marvel, and just look at what has changed, how they've become more specific to gender issues. We'll be looking at racial questions, Black Lives Matter, and whitewashing. Dr. Strange took a lot of heat for whitewashing one of the characters in there. So we'll be looking at it from that perspective. Politics, I'm trying to decide is the Marvel universe a Republican or a Democratic universe? And I don't think they know. And I think it varies actually from film to film, depending on who's directing it and what their own political background is. So, and my goal for students in their projects is to find something that means something to them, some sort of significance in their own interest, academic interests, career interests, and tie that into superhero films somehow. Science would be a great thing, to look at the science of superhero movies. I've just noticed now this morning I watched the first Avengers movie, going from Thor to the Avengers, and I noticed it's much more scientific and much less magical. That they're really trying to make it hard science fiction instead of, I don't know, whatever Thor was, mythical. We'll be looking at kind of archetypal approaches, and I'm hoping Professor Smart can come and give us some background on the hero's journey. I think Thor is a perfect example of the archetypal hero journey, where the hero ventures out into the wild, undergoes suffering, and then returns heroically. So we'll be looking at those kinds of plot elements too. So I'm excited. I've never taught this class. I've been having a lot of fun studying for it and watching these movies again. I'm really looking forward to hearing what students can contribute to the conversation.
Sounds interesting. I think obviously Marvel films are extremely popular, especially from an economic standpoint. It's
Yeah.
it's interesting to see how very popular they are. So, yeah, and think I hadn't really thought about that before. Thinking specifically, I know I heard there was a lot of buzz about Black Widow and having a heroine or Black Panther. So I think I like your approach to the content there. So interesting. And so I didn't mention this. Professor Smart's class is online 16 weeks in the spring. Professor Kershey is online 16 weeks in the spring. Dr. Eubanks is going to be face-to-face. So face-to-face, 8 weeks is the second 8 weeks, right? So it'll start around right after spring break till May. So that's how that will be offered. All right. And Professor Embry is not just an instructor. Give us a little bit of background about what all you do at NCTC.
Okay, so I'm also the technical director for the theater program at NCTC. So I handle all of the technical aspects of putting on all of our productions. So scenic construction, painting, sound, lighting, all of that kind of design stuff that goes on to make the productions look and sound the way that they do. So that's kind of my area of expertise. And then I kind of like lend a helping hand for any kind of audio issues or things on campus. So I'm just kind of all around. Yeah. So I am offering a foreign film appreciation course, and it is called Blockbuster Breakaway Films. We're going to be specifically looking at foreign films. And this idea of film and cinema, it's a really young visual media art form. And so it's rapidly changing, not just because of technology, but because of the types of stories that we're wanting to tell. And for the modern American moviegoer, the formula that we're kind of into now really was invented with Jaws in 1975. And so we've kind of stuck to that very big summer blockbuster idea of loud noises, big car crashes, superheroes saving the day. And I really wanted to expose a lot of my students to different types of narrative, different styles of acting, cinematography, and all of that. And I thought that foreign film was a really great way to do that. And so we'll be moving through Kurosawa and Japanese filmmaking with like Seven Samurai all the way through to 2019's Parasite by Bong Joon-ho. So really kind of spanning a large history of foreign filmmaking and in its native tongue, because I also think that's really important for students to hear these films in their native languages and read the subtitles and really try to get that visceral feeling about emotion and intention and visuals through camera work.
Very cool. I think I'm biased obviously, but I'd love to take all of these courses. I think it's really interesting. You all have an interesting approach. And I just remember that Parasite was on my list of movies to see. It won several awards, didn't it?
It won Best Picture.
Best Picture. So of course I need to see that. So that's awesome. Okay. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for joining us today to hear about the classes that we're offering for honors in the spring. If you're interested in learning more about the courses or about the honors program, you can reach out to me at jswarner@nctc.edu. You can also go to our website, which is honors.nctc.edu, and read more about the honors program. There's also an application there if you want to go ahead and apply to the program for the spring. So thanks for joining us today.